Greetings and welcome. Did any of you either remember these awesome Topps folders or also collect them? I'm not positive about this, but I believe they were only printed in 1988, 1989, and 1990. When I was in grade school, these were the coolest items you could have. And we collected these folders like baseball cards. Now for context, I'm 39 years old, so by the time we were obtaining these, it would have probably been 1992 or 1993, so these have already been out for a while. But our school had a small store, and by small store, I mean it was pretty much a wooden display case on wheels, if I can remember correctly. And you would get tickets or tokens or something for good behavior throughout the week. And at the end of the week, our teacher would take us to the store to buy something. And our store was always stocked full of these folders. I don't know how much these usually retailed for. I know it wasn't much. And by 1992, I think these could be found in pretty much all drugstores, grocery stores, or dollar stores for pretty cheap. But the older grades, they always got to go first to the store. And when we were allowed to go to the store, we were always worried that they'd take up all the folders. And then when it was our turn, I remember us all wrestling into position to be in a good part of line to get dibs for the folders. Now, for whatever reason, and reasons I still don't really know besides he was a great ball player, Kirby Puckett was the sought-after folder of all of us. I was between 7 or 8 and didn't know who Kirby Puckett even was at first, but I just knew I had to get his folder. I never did get the Kirby Puckett folder, but my whole class was sports obsessed. And I remember going home asking my dad who Kirby Bucket was. And again, I was 7 or 8 years old, but I thought his last name was Bucket, not Puckett. But I got a few of these folders. I remember the 1988 Eddie Murray, and I think I also had a Brett Saberhagen and Howard Johnson. But the Dave Stewart was always my favorite. And again, when I got this, I had no idea who Dave Stewart was. I was just thrilled to have gotten a folder. But as time went on, I learned who he was and became a big fan of his. I studied the back, and the backs were as awesome as the front. And then I can't tell you how many times I would put a piece of paper over that and trace it, and trace the image of Dave Stewart, and then color my masterpiece. And even when you open the folder, you can see a 7-year-old Andy's awesome dinosaur sticker collection. But fast forward to the spring of 2019, my dad and I went to a card show in St. Louis, and it was announced that Dave Stewart was going to be there as an autograph signer. And at this point, I was trying to put together an autographed 1984 Topps set together, so I took this 1984 Topps card. And it's my turn in line. And I wasn't nervous, but you also never know how interactions will go when meeting someone, especially when they mean a lot to you in your sports fandom journey. I talk a little and bring up this folder, and he stopped, looks up, and goes, "The 1990 Topps folder? Those were so cool." And we ended up talking about it, and I told him how it's how I learned about his career and became a fan, and he was just the greatest to talk to. Then 2 years later, Stewart was at the National in Chicago, and I'm really selective on who I get autographed baseballs from. But I have to get Stewart on a ball now. And again, I'm not nervous, but the first interaction went so well, I was worried that it would taint the interaction. And it didn't. And he signed this ball, and we talked about him being the subject of the comic art Pop Fly Pop Shop, which I stupidly did not buy at the time. And it was just another great interaction with him. But I was curious if any of you collected these or used these as your folders in school or even work. These are the items I miss in today's hobby. These helped me become a baseball fan. And it's the cool stuff we had as kids that I don't think kids have today. I'd love for my son to be able to take a Nolan Arenado folder to school. But thank you for watching, and enjoy your collection.